Feel like I should quilt this one quilt I had sitting over here for a year,
You know, that's
but
not
I'm
long enough. I'm just going to tell you that
I
right now. Okay, we are live.
feel like I should quilt. There we go. One quilt I had sitting over here. I can hear
Let me
myself in
mute
the
this.
background.
That's not long enough. I'll get it. It's my ticket.
Already.
There we go.
An ad is currently playing.
That's
Hey
all
guys.
right.
All right, we are live. We missed you guys too.
I'm here too. I just walked away for a second.
Can you hear me? Because the last time I tried to use these headphones, nobody could hear me on YouTube.
Let's see. Let me see.
An ad.
Yes.
Yay! We have figured out technology. How wonderful. Awesome. Well, hello everyone. We have Misty, Liz, Sherry already here. If you guys would like to join the Zoom, you have to answer a question that only a quilter will know. I'm going to pop the link over here and also make sure we're recording. Let's do that. And that way we can have funny bloopers if I ever actually do it. Okay.
Yeah. You'll have to write down the time. So at this point, these last a while.
Sorry, I just heard you like way delayed on the YouTube. I was very confused for a moment. Okay. So, hello, everyone. Come join
Where's my dog? Tabby. He's
on
not joining me
Zoom
today.
if you want to chat on video. You will be on the live stream on YouTube if you join.
Although you don't have to show your face or anything.
But you can keep your camera off.
I think I overheated my basement. It was freezing down here, so I turned on the heat. And now I think I've heated myself out. Well,
Trying to type this in. I'm over on my character count here.
okay.
I'm just gonna say you will be on YouTube. Trying to get fewer characters. Perfect. There we go. We can pin that guy to the top. If you would like to join, we will ask you to answer some quilting questions because we have had some weirdos come to join us, and that's not very fun for
Not
anybody
our
but
kind of
but the
weirdos.
weirdos. Yeah, I know. We are weird, but
not our type.
yeah, a different kind of interesting. We have Faye from Perth, Australia is on here. Cheryl has joined. Veronica, Misty
What
Proctor
time is
missed
it in
us.
Australia right now?
I know.
Let's see. It's like yes,
I
it's
think
like
it's actually,
tomorrow.
is it like mid-morning for you?
It sounds about
I'm not
right.
totally sure.
No, it's like lunch. I don't know. We're just making stuff up now.
All right, we have some stuff. People in the waiting room. All right, Sherry, we know, right? Sherry's been on before. Misty, we know. At some point, Chantal and I were talking about actually making a list so that we could be better organized, and just whitelist a few of you guys.
But then again, at the same time, we've been traveling. We're both still somehow like jet lagged.
Yes, definitely.
Somehow.
But
it's amazing. It's been a week and we're still like
it's 10:30 in Perth, Australia right now. AM. So it's 9:30 where we are at. Yeah, that works out. I don't think anybody from England can join us. I think it's middle of the night there. Because it's what? They're 6 hours ahead.
No, so yeah, 6 or 7 in Europe. So that doesn't work out. Now we know that.
We
because we're
do, because our bodies are still there.
yeah,
And which
and they're never
I
coming back,
I've not
apparently.
been up past 10:30 in the evening any night this week. I went to bed with my 4-year-old many, many nights since I've been back.
My schedule's been sleeping from like 7 p.m. until about midnight. And then my body's like, you're ready for more. And I'm like, actually, I'm ready for more
Not
sleep, not
quite.
more, you know.
Not quite. Oh, I have to unearth my long arm before I can actually do any more sewing.
Mine's
So,
starting to get a little buried with a project I don't feel like finishing, or
so
two, or
I
three,
made one of those
or four.
decisions that has you, it's a good decision, but it also has you questioning your life choices and priorities.
Uh-oh.
So
That sounds serious.
at about 12:30 this afternoon, I was sitting at lunch with my daughter, who was not supposed to have the day off, but ended up having the day off, which is a whole another story.
It's a hockey
We had
day.
we had a little girls' day, so I didn't get done anything I wanted to get done. And I'm sitting there, and I'm going to my friend from high school is getting married, and she has a um, registry, and I'm going back home this weekend with the girls to go to the shower. And when you are 39 and a successful professional, you don't really need anything on a registry. So there's things like, you know, $200 cooking things so that they can do gourmet cooking things because they are,
Fancy and
single
stuff.
or, double income, no kids. And so they just get to do what they want
Oh,
instead of what children want. And
make them
so,
do.
yeah, exactly.
It's not
And
an episode of Bluey every day.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do I get them a pasta maker or a Home Depot gift card? Or do I finally finish the stupid quilt of our high school t-shirts,
Oh,
which the
no.
top is done, and I just need to quilt the thing, and it's a t-shirt quilt, so you never do anything too fancy. And so at about
I've seen this
two,
quilt.
yeah, you have. You were there when the top got done. So at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was purchasing 5 yards of bee fabric to go on the back because that was our mascot. And I just sewed the back together. And now I might spend the entire time unearthing the long arm and loading it on, and then get up at like 6 in the morning to quilt this thing and bind it at my
Wow.
parents' house. So
There's
these are my life choices, which probably are not great, but will be for a good cause at the
there's
moment.
nothing like a project to make you do something that you were trying to avoid anyways.
Exactly.
So promising a project that requires you to unearth the long arm means that you have to finally do the project on unearthing the long arm, which has been
Except
buried since you made your Oompa Loompa pants.
except I am not going to do it in any kind of a make sense way. Like, it's just going to get piled on my desk because
Ugh.
I need to spend like several days down here
But then
getting my sewing room back in order.
it'll end up right back on there.
I don't know what I'm doing with my life, Chantal. We had this conversation about halfway through the cruise. This was one of the nights that
What
Chantal
are
and I
we
were like, I
doing?
miss my babies.
I miss my kids and I miss their excuse for why I haven't gotten my life together.
Yeah, pretty
Blah.
much. Yeah. I don't
At
know
least
where
that
I'm
was
going to put my
my portion
computer
of it.
while I'm cleaning off this mess.
Maybe if you make
Maybe
the
we
pile,
need a
you can put
view.
it on the pile. Oh,
This is the situation right
no.
now.
Is there room underneath it?
No.
There's more things under it. Hey, I have those. Yeah, that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And,
I,
and,
oh,
and,
girl, I really.
and
Hey,
I have no flat surfaces. They're all taken over by crap. The whole room.
I've had this table behind me cleared off at least 3 times this week. It can't stay that way. I like how when I roll this way, it like lets me show you.
Yeah.
Like I'm a Vanna over here. Also, I got very, very, very jealous of you, apparently. Look what I had to buy after looking at it an entire vacation.
My husband thought that was cool.
I had
So
to
that
have one.
means it's good.
So Stephanie bought this before we even got on the boat. one of these really
For
cool
my
Tula
Cute.
project
Tulanova.
bag.
It's for
And
Tulanova.
yeah, and we are both owl people to the max. And it's pink and teal. So my colors are pink, her colors are teal. Makes a
It's
lot of
perfect.
sense. And I had to stare at this beautiful thing the entire time. So I was like, I'm an adult. I'm gonna go buy one because I can.
Is that a new style? Because it has the zipper that goes across the
Mhm.
top and
It's
it looks
an
like it goes
extra
down the
huge
side
one.
too.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's humongous.
Like I can fit my Tulanova center in that.
Like finger to armpit kind of like level of
Very cool.
It's
Do they-
huge.
Did they make another design besides the owl, or is the owl the only one?
That's what
for this
was at the
big.
shop.
I think this is the only one that's that big. Maybe they made one in Roar. I don't know. And then I did pick up one of this one not that long ago because it was on sale.
I have
And I
one
do
like
love
that
these
that's
project
slightly
bags.
bigger, but it's got the unicorn on it.
You have a unicorn one?
Yeah.
I got the sewing machine. I have a lot of them. I use them a lot for my paper piecing.
But I
That
like
makes
that
sense.
big
Oh, I
one
forgot
with
my
the
pillow
owl.
upstairs. I was
Now
going
I
to show
have
everybody my
one.
Liberty of London pillow, which we got
It's
to
the
go to Liberty
background
of
for
London.
today's item. I got
Yes, there's a
recognized in Liberty of London. It was like one of the best moments of my life.
It was really like, yeah, we're in Liberty of London. I'm crying over like fabric in the corner, and somebody recognizes Stephanie by
Somebody
her
goes,
voice.
Stephanie? And I'm like,
Is her
yes.
name Leslie or Denise? It was one or the other.
I think it was Leslie. We
Was
can
it a
look it up. It's on my
customer or an
Instagram.
employee?
It was somebody who
A
watched
customer
on
from
YouTube.
Portland.
Yeah. And she just, it was wild. It was
It
wild.
was wild.
Totally wild.
I'm like, I'm Stephanie's friend. Yeah. She's like, oh, nice.
No, it was really cool.
No,
It was
actually
definitely
really
cool. It was a fun moment. But yeah, it was,
Liberty of London, by the way, guys,
you gotta go.
it's worth it. It's the most beautiful unair conditioned store you'll ever go into.
Have like a $500 spending limit minimum.
Wait, hold on. It's unair conditioned?
No,
No,
a lot
it
of
has no air
places in
conditioning.
England don't have air conditioning because it doesn't get that hot there.
Oh,
And it's a historically registered place or something like that. And there's a solarium kind of thing going on in the middle of the store. So it gets really warm. But yeah, it was pretty. It really is probably the prettiest fabric store in the world, as
I
we were
took
told.
tons and tons of video, and basically I need to get my butt down here and film like a we're back. We're going to be putting video out. But here's
We're still
my
recovering.
we are for sure. Like I did catch up all week this week, I felt like.
so you're
Like
gonna
for
make
work
like
stuff.
a video of your photos
Yeah,
and your
Many
trip.
videos.
Okay,
Many
good.
videos. And
We had so much, and the cruise itself was awesome.
it
and
was really awesome.
students were amazing.
They were a lot of fun. It's
They were.
always fun when you're teaching a course because you have people who are like, I'm going to finish this and I'm going to do it before the end. And then you have people who you doubt will ever finish. And that's perfectly fine with them. They've got no problem with that. So that's always entertaining to me.
Yeah, there are people that are going to love what you're teaching, and there's people that are going to be like, wow, that was nice. At least when you're
Well,
teaching English paper
There are
piecing.
people who will love it, still love it, but also just like finishing isn't like their thing. And they just want to learn the process, and that's fine.
Sometimes I think folding fabric is my thing.
I mean, collecting it and doing something with it, it's definitely not the same hobby.
You guys should see I organize all my fabric over here. It's gonna get mad because I'm not in the picture, but look at that neon wall. Hey, no, back down there.
Oh my gosh, that's fun.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
it's not done. I have a lot more fabric.
I'm
But look,
not
it's
surprised
like
by
an
that.
art installation. All right, you have finished quilts. I have fabric.
I also have fabric, as you can see.
Yes, you do.
Yes. A big
I
chunk
think
of
I
my
have a lot more
problem.
neon than you.
Probably. A big chunk of my problem here is that I've got like 30 quilts that need to be folded and go back up on the wall. So if I would just like take half a day to do that, it would be much better situation.
Am I a naughty person because I put a quilt on my frame and then use that as my space to fold other things on?
I think that that's relatable,
It's like an
is what that
actual
is.
table if you put a quilt on it. So,
Oh, goodness.
do we have somebody in YouTube looking at comments, or at least somebody in
Yes,
here?
I have YouTube up. We've got Sherry's asking how about the cruise.
Oh, it was
So I
amazing.
feel like we should talk about the actual cruise.
We should.
Let me close that. So cruise was awesome. We started out of Fort Lauderdale, and it was like a long travel day to get there, mostly because Chantel's like, let's stay up all night. And you
I
did stay up pretty late, and then I actually stayed up all night. I went like
I
40
did
hours
not
without sleep.
say let's stay up all night. It was more like things weren't done, therefore we have to, so we should do it together.
But she she
I did
went
go to
down on
bed.
me. And I had to censor myself there. I was going to say something else, but she went down on me. And
I did.
so I'm down here
I'm
working
all
on
for a
stuff
challenge, but
that
I'm
I
comfortable
needed.
with myself. I'll fail. I don't mind.
So I'm down here working on like my sample for the cruise that absolutely has to be done, like when we leave. And I have these headphones on. I'm listening to Demon Copperhead, which I'm not done with, but is really, really good so far. And I'm like not paying attention. And all of a sudden, my mother is like rounding the corner into the basement in the middle of the night when I'm not expecting anyone to go up. I like leapt out of my skin. She's like, "Why are you still up? Why did you leave the last minute?" And I'm like, "Look,
Oh
Mom,
no.
I don't make good choices sometimes." Oh.
Hey, Mom, I should try harder. I know. I'm sorry about
So
that.
the real reason why though is because I had a ton of work to do for I work for a garden center doing freelance video. And so once a month or so, they send me home with something to do in my yard and a bunch of free stuff, usually like $200-300 worth of free stuff to like do it so that we have B-roll to go with whatever it is that they're explaining how to do. So this month's I was thinking I would end up with a blueberry plant. And I ended up with 2 raspberry plants, 1 blackberry plant, and 2 blueberries. And they all have to be spaced out so far. So I needed to clear 81 square feet of like area in order to be able to get these in and have a walking path in between. And it was like raining on and off. So I'm like pulling up sod in this mess. And I got bit to high hell while I was doing this. And I ended up with spider bite, which comes into play later. You have to know that I have spider bites when we leave for the cruise because that ended up being a major feature later on. But it was
Yes,
really
it did.
fun. The first night was really fun. They got us all together for like kind of like a logistics meeting, but it also was cocktail hour, so that was kind of fun. And Chantel and I were like, we haven't slept, or no, we had kind of slept at that point. Not a lot. We didn't sleep a lot the
Not
night before the
much.
cruise because we were still like getting a few things like finished up. And but we're like, we don't have our children, we're gonna let loose. And
We're gonna
that
try
was a
this
really
staying
fun night.
awake thing.
Yes, we had it was a really, really fun night. Because everybody was getting to know each other and then we all went to dinner and you got like served 3-course dinners every single night that you didn't have to cook or clean up after. That was
And you got
amazing.
to walk right to the front of the line
I
and
know,
like
because
to
they
get your
like,
seat.
yeah, they make reservations for you basically. So you just get to waltz in every day at the same time,
Yep,
but still really cool.
it was
But
worth
anyway,
it. And
so
the
that was
food
really fun.
was great. Everything was great. There was not much to complain about.
No, not really.
The complaint
Um,
was that it was really, really long for us to be away from our kids. That was the
yeah.
biggest thing.
So like middle of the
Everybody
week,
else felt good about.
well, I think this was the hard part. So one of our teachers was coming from India where her son had just gotten married. So she ate something there that was like not agreeing with her. And so she ended up being quarantined on the ship, and we had to redo the schedule, which was
Not
no
even
big deal.
kidding. Like
Chantal
we
and
didn't
I,
know.
Chantal and I were good. We're busy. You give us a task, we got it. But then like middle, and then we like had a port day in Portugal, which, oh my gosh, I took so many pictures of, let's talk about the pavements in Portugal. That was awesome. Because we were like
Yes.
7 days at sea, and during that time we had the retreat at sea, which is really
Which
cool.
the design on the ship itself was beautiful, and the use of pattern throughout the ship um
It was just
was
inspiring
it
everywhere you
was
looked.
really
There was a
cool.
potential quilt pattern.
Oh, we're finally getting off the boat, which is
Yes.
a wonderful thing. We finally get some vitamin D, like we're out in the sunshine. All the pavements are these super cool like patterns. And
It
they
was so
don't
gorgeous. And it was
it's
like
not and
colors
different
and the brickwork.
streets are different patterns. It's like they didn't copy a single one.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And this was on Azores in Portugal. It was really, it's a volcanic mountain. So it looks a lot like Hawaii. They have a lot of pineapples and um azaleas like their flower. And I found Portuguese Pokemon cards to bring back for my daughter, which she's super excited about, by the way.
Oh, yay.
So that
Good.
went over real well. Um, but yeah, and we found this little fabric store that was like a general store that also had fabric. Like it probably would have been in like the
I imagine
1950s.
that, yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was gonna say. I imagine it to be something like how you used to be able to just bebop in and like get some fabric at your local store because you have an event or whatever, kid outgrew their uniform or whatever.
Yeah.
But
But
Stephanie was
that was really
excited.
fun. So I found some really good tiny prints at that place. So that was good. Because my focus was on buying tiny prints because I'm trying to talk my publisher into letting me and Chantel do a doll clothes book. So that's my current goal in life. One of them.
Yeah,
But
that would
anyway,
be awesome because the amount of like actual fashion, we always end up going back to dolls on this. Sorry, we've decided that this is where we're at in our life and everybody must know about it.
it's all good.
Um, it's all good. But yeah, the prints were adorable. I mean, they were a bargain.
Oh
A
my gosh.
bargain.
I got so many meters and I spent like 30 €. It was a lot.
Which
And a ton
like
of tiny trims. It was so much. So I'll show
it
it
was
when
a
I do
lot.
my fabric haul
So
video, which will probably be the
Stephanie
first one I do.
managed to get
Hey, you're gonna make us
the
wait?
I
oh
am, yeah.
yeah.
They're like packed beautifully in
You
a
don't
suitcase.
understand. She
You should
packed
see.
this like level 30 Dr. Mario kind of thing. Like every crevice of a Tetris game was like clearly fit together. And I mean, it took a long time, but we were not going to be overcharged or whatever for our luggage. We had goals,
Yeah,
and that
well,
was
that
the
almost
main goal.
happened, and we can get to that
It
point
really
too.
did almost happen.
Oh my God.
We
Anyway,
had a lot of fun, and we had a lot of fun with the people we were
we
with in
did.
general. So it was kind of just a big party. It was a big retreat at sea,
Yeah.
and we had the drink package, which came in handy
Yes, definitely.
more than
Anything up
once.
to $10 like was included, so you didn't have to get nickel and dime for stuff. And if you did want something more than that, like if it was like $12, you were responsible for $2 of it. So it's not like you had to pay the whole 12. So that was nice.
That
Are
was
we still live
very
on
handy.
YouTube? Because there's like literally no comments over there. 23
Yeah.
people watching. You guys can comment
Yeah,
on here. We'll answer
we're
questions.
trying to keep up with that,
We
although who knows
are
how behind they are.
not too far, I don't think.
Uh-oh. I think my machine needs some oil. She
But
sounds clunky.
so Portugal was awesome. We kind of just walked around port ourselves that day. We didn't do anything special.
And I
Um,
don't think we needed to there. I think
no,
that was a good one to choose to walk around.
some people like went up to see like the valley because it was supposedly really gorgeous. Um,
There's a big crater.
Yeah. So some people did that. That was cool from what I heard. But yeah, that was a good walking one. And you found
Yeah.
a hilarious cow shirt. That one was
Well, we
cute.
also picked up some stuff for your spider bite there.
We did. So this was where Stephanie like had a little bit of a mental breakdown not too long after this. Actually, I think it was that night. So
Well, she
my
was already having trouble seeing, which was really
yeah,
bothering her the whole time. And she couldn't quite pinpoint what it was. And so
so
eventually that
and
worked.
we're not talking a little bit trouble seeing. We're talking like I cannot thread my needle and like I I was holding my phone like way, way out here.
She
And it was
was.
like it was getting progressively worse. And my mom had like to get a cataract taken care of because of a similar situation where like she could not read a book even for like 3 months until she was able to get in and get it taken care of. And thankfully she had retired by this point, or I don't know how she would have worked. And then also um
But the spider
my
bite was looking bad.
grandfather, well, my grandfather also went
Oh,
like completely blind in one eye and didn't even realize it until he went to the optometrist.
oh yeah.
And so I'm thinking I've got something like way younger than they do. I'm highly concerned about this. And the spider bite, when I showed it to the pharmacist in Portugal, she like visibly like backed up. And I'm like, okay, this is bad. So I anyway, so I went to do like a teledoc health thing and I knew what I was supposed to take. I needed amoxicillin. So I go down there and they won't just give it to you. It's not a pharmacy. You have to see the doctor. So it was the most expensive amoxicillin I had ever gotten. And between that and like paying for upgraded internet so I could work while I was gone, it was a lot of money that I wasn't planning on spending. So I'm like freaking out about that. And I'm
So your
freaking out
insurance
about my
doesn't cover your medicine when you're abroad.
apparently I can submit it to my insurance now. And if I would have gotten travel insurance, that would have been fine. Um, but Ray and John convinced me to like go out because I was like sulking in the room, and that didn't really help then. That just sent when we got back, and Chantal and I were just kind of like, we were like midway through the trip. It's like day 9 or 10, and we were just
We
kind
have
of
to go
like,
back on the boat for 2 more
yeah,
days of this
2 more days before we see land again. And we both were like, what are we doing with our lives? And
way.
like, it was
We
interesting.
had we had the complete midlife crisis in a
We
single
did. We
evening.
definitely did. All together, all at one time. But anyway, so then
But
like
it
a
was a
day
very
later,
efficient way to do it.
it was. And we're like, we just need to go to sleep. And so
They
the
made
next
us go
day,
out and party and we needed sleep. We
it's
sound so
okay.
whiny.
We did, we needed something. We needed a kick in the butt. So then
We needed a
Chantal had
kick.
a lovely realization that kind of helped turn things around because she's married to a physician. So I'll let you
Oh,
tell
and
that
this
part.
had to do with your
My
vision.
eyesight. Yeah. So I
So
still can't see. It's getting worse.
I was thinking about it and I'm like, well, there's no new medications or anything that you've been using. And she's like, well, actually, to go on this trip, I'm using the patches or whatever for seasickness. I was like, those can cause vision issues.
Yeah, it
It
says
was
right on
that.
the bottle, which I
It's
Oh,
could
right
tell
on.
by
Yeah, it
holding way
only,
out here.
yeah, turns out that's what it was.
So it
The
works
nausea
great.
patches.
We had some really rough seas, which apparently are unusual, but um I was fine for that. It did its job, but those definitely just use them as needed. So that way you don't run into that. Because I think by that point I'd been wearing it for like 10 days straight. And obviously the
Yeah,
side effects were building. But once I took it off,
it
like
took
two
2
days later,
days.
I was fine. So
Yeah, so, the Dramamine patch that you get from your doctor, if you experience vision
changes.
issues, do call
That's what
your
it is.
doctor and discontinue the medication.
Yes. So yeah. Next
There's
time
our
I'm
public
gonna
ad
ask,
about that one.
I think next time I'm gonna just ask for what's the one you take when you're pregnant and feel sick?
Zofran,
Yes, that. I'm gonna ask for that next time. But because that would be a
like what
lot
I'm
better.
working on. Ooh.
Hey, that was our cruise
Ooh, that's
project.
gorgeous.
Chantal could not find
I
four flying geese.
lost 4 of my geese. They
They
flew away.
They flew away forever.
They flew the coop.
Yep. So she
Sorry,
couldn't
everybody's
finish it on
getting
the trip.
twisted about today. I
But
was
anyway,
so close too.
you were very close. But once we got through like that middle of the way, like I miss my kids. What are we doing with our lives? We're almost 40, midlife crisis. It was like a huge blast. Like it was a blast up until that point, and then it was a blast like from then on out. So we had like a moment like midway.
I mean, it was like a toddler thing. We had to have our temper tantrum and like get it out of our system and then move on.
Then we had a good time.
Then we did fine. Yeah.
Yes. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, like because we like moved the cruise, schedule around, like we all of a sudden found ourselves with like absolutely nothing to do on our 2 sea days,
And
which was nice in a way. Like we
but it's
literally
hard for us.
we sat in the solarium and looked out at the Atlantic Ocean and did hand stitching all day, which was great.
At a certain point, she was able to see again.
Yeah, well, I was doing it when I couldn't see. I just had you check my stitches. I was like, Chantal, do these look okay?
That's what we're gonna be like when we're 90.
Maybe.
We're
just gonna move in together.
Good in my Nova.
When we've outlived our husbands, we'll just go move in together and check each other's stitches. It'll work.
It'll be fine.
Yes.
So
Somebody
Stephanie,
will be able to tell us.
First quilt cruise?
First quilt cruise, yes. I cruised with my parents when I was like 22, but I feel like that's not the same experience because like
not at all.
We could go out and drink more alcohol than we should have, and that was fun.
So did you get to meet any like quilt celebrities of yours?
What, on the cruise or before?
Either.
I had not met anybody previous to the cruise, and the roster kind of that was on the cruise. The roster kind of changed a bit along the way as well, and that could just be because
well, she met me beforehand.
Well, you obviously. It was a very international audience or teaching roster. So like Joe was from the Crafty Nomad, was from England, and REALY, who was an addition later, she's from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And Angie, who did the initial like put together everything, she's Australia.
So did you take some of their classes?
I sat in. So there was fewer sewing machines than there were students. So we didn't really want to.
Actually worked fine though.
It worked fine. What we did was we had split them into like 2 groups. So there was like a morning session and an afternoon session. So like when I was teaching, Chantal often was off with EPP teaching the other half because they didn't need machines for that part. So we sat in on Joe's class because she did improv curves, and Chantal and I were both very interested in that process. I haven't had a chance to try it yet. Have you, Chantal?
I tried it while I was there.
Okay.
I've done some improv curves before, but I wanted to know more of her technique, and luckily her technique was pretty much spot on with what I had tried, but I got a little overconfident on a new machine there and it looked awful, so I gave up while I was still ahead.
I am interested to try it. I just have not had a chance to sit down at my sewing machine until like right now to get this back in together because of my poor life choices.
So most
because
people
of my poor
the machines there, they didn't bring their own?
Nobody brought their own machine. They were arranged by RG Travels, who did all the travel
highly
arrangements.
suggest.
Yeah, they're really good. They've got it.
And they're fun guys in general.
They are fun. We hung out with them quite a bit. It was a lot of fun. So, but
even though they made us go out on that day where we like had our midlife crisis, but maybe they planned that. Who knows? Wise little
it's all
men.
good. Well, the next day, like we did go out and had a good time. Like we were just talking in the sewing room for a while because in the evenings we would all get together in
and
the
just
sewing
do extra
room.
sew. We were able to sew at
like
any time of the day.
Yeah.
whenever we want it. We have
As long as
limited
there
iron
wasn't
time.
like another class. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we would just hang out in there, and they're like, come see the show. And it was, of course, like the late, late show. And then we ended up like doing more stuff after. We found like a Quebecois couple that we like closed down several areas of the ship with. And then we had open
think,
sew
yeah.
day like the next day, very early. And I was like the first one in there. But then I'm sitting there like doing hand sewing in like the side of the room, and it's just rocking me back and forth the whole time. And I'm like, stay awake, Stephanie, stay awake.
Stay awake.
And I ended up with like
Don't
a
go to
double
sleep.
shot espresso. But
There
hey,
was a
Stephanie.
coffee shop very adjacent, which was
Yes.
awesome. Where's my other pieces here?
And because we had that drink package, like you could just go get whatever and not worry about it. It's not like you have to worry about your coffee budget. That was nice.
There was no coffee budget.
No, you just got coffee whenever you wanted it, which was
I
nice.
just realized I'm going to cut off the tip of one of these geese. No, you know what? I give up on this project for now because
It's okay. It's late.
making me mad. It is
My
late
husband.
and I'm tired and
It is.
cranky.
It's still like 2 a.m. London time.
It's not even been a half hour here. We want to
Right?
be with you. We're just not. Uh-oh, I hear feet upstairs.
I hear my husband's feet, so I'm gonna ignore that. Not that I don't love him.
I
But
hope it's just my dog, but I don't think it is.
But
Oh,
after
hey.
that, after our like 2 days, final days at sea, so it was like 9 total days at sea, during which time we had the retreat at sea. And then it was like stop after stop after stop. So we would like, it was Ireland first, and we did a walking tour of I'm going to say it wrong. How do you say it in the actual Irish? Corv,
I
Corv,
can't. It's
Corv.
Cork, but
Cork
you
is
say
the
it
way
some
our
other
Americans
way,
say it.
you know, and if it was between 18 something and 1920-ish,
It was
it
called
was
like
Queensland.
Queenstown. Yeah, Queenstown.
Queensland?
It was the
Queenstown?
last port of call for the Titanic.
We were exhausted, and I was
We were
having a
very
blood
tired.
sugar issue that day. So
It was the last port of call for the Titanic before it like left to its fateful end. So there's a lot of really good history there, and I didn't realize at all that it was also the Lusitania disaster was literally like a couple
right
miles
there.
off the coast. And
Yeah.
so it may link to 2 major maritime disasters. And so a lot of history. And my daughter's currently obsessed with the Titanic. So I got her some souvenirs there that she's very much interested in.
The experience was very cool because you were given a ticket of a passenger and you would find out if you managed to live or not. And
We both
Stephanie
lived.
and I both ended up as third class steerage passengers that were male that managed to live. And only 6 men from the third class in that port managed to make it.
So apparently mine was a good swimmer and made it to a lifeboat. And Chantal's
and
cross-dressed
mine was a
as a
cross
woman.
dresser.
Yeah, cross-dressed as a woman to make it on one.
I mean, I feel like that is just very accurate to what our personalities would be.
I mean, I was a really good swimmer. I
mean,
swam
I'm not
competitively
saying
for
I'm
a
a great
decade.
cross dresser, but you know, creativity is a thing for me.
You definitely
As is
had
humor.
some good outfits while we were gone.
Oh, we did have really good outfits. You had good outfits too.
It was fun.
It was nice to wear real clothes.
Yes. Not what I'm wearing right now.
Not spandex clothes that have other people's food on them.
Although Chantal was really missing mac and cheese.
I did. I had mac and cheese for dinner tonight, actually. Like Kraft mac and cheese.
Well, so what were the meals like?
Oh, amazing.
They were really good. And the fruit and the sandwiches. Can we talk about the midnight sandwiches? I am obsessed.
Would have like these, like a midnight snack bar up in the buffet area. So if you like, we had a 5:30 dinner time. So if you're up kind of late and you're hungry, you can go up and get light fare. There were these sandwiches, some desserts. I ate a ton of Mediterranean stuff, like
Yeah, she
cheese
was
and
living that.
olives. Oh my gosh. I've been trying to keep it up since I got home. 'Cause
No home style mac and cheese.
I actually lost 2 pounds while I was on the cruise, even though I ate like a ton of stuff. But my husband's like, so did you do your like walking? I was like, you just existed and you walked. Like it wasn't like you had to like go exercise. And
True.
so that was kind of nice. But yeah, so Chantel fell in love with the sandwiches up there because
I did.
everything's prepared fresh on the boat except gluten free because that has to be prepared in like a like environment all on its own.
Did you try anything new that you've never tried before?
I tried a lot of desserts that I hadn't had before.
Yeah. There was nothing that was like, or even when we were there was no particular, Irish
like
coffee, does that count?
we did that. Chantel thought that our walking tour, which included a stop at a traditional Irish pub, would include lunch, but it was a liquid lunch. So
It was at lunchtime.
yeah,
That's okay. I didn't die,
you didn't.
so,
Thankfully, somebody had a mint and it helped her out.
but
But
I've been craving Chinese food ever since then. So they had fried rice at every single like breakfast,
yeah,
which is like an obsession of mine to have fried rice with like an omelet.
like so a lot of mornings, if we had to be up early for something like to go teach or to get off the boat, we would order room service, which was complimentary if it was continental. And so we would get like I eat rye bread like almost every single day, which I've been continuing to do because it's a nice nutrient dense thing, and I would like to like keep it up. Um, and like before I left, I've been having an issue with a pinched nerve in my leg where like it's incredibly painful, like numb, tingling pins and needles, like you sat in the toilet too long, but like all the way down the side of my leg. And since I've been walking more and then walking with the dog when I got back and eating better, like it's almost gone. And I thought for sure I was gonna have to lose a bunch of weight to get rid of it, but it's like no, just move and make a few better food choices. So I've been trying to keep that up. But like if you go up to the buffet for breakfast, you can have bacon, you can
Oh,
have eggs any way you want. You can have, oh yeah, that came from
so
Portugal.
yeah, this was like what Portugal,
Looked
they
like.
had these kind of tiles, but on the ground it was a little bit different. But yeah, I got this as it's a trivet. So I figured, hot stuff. But,
That's cute.
upstairs, I don't know. I don't really cook, but it is going in my kitchen because kitchens tend to have no color in them.
Yeah.
That's not for me. Oh, I'm glad you miss us.
But yeah,
I
you
know,
can
man,
You
do
guys.
right?
what
was the
whatever
I said. I missed
whatever you
so much.
wanted for breakfast, you could get for breakfast.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The bacon
Cereal.
was good too.
It was really good.
I
And
miss somebody feeding me.
I
It's
know, it
so
was really
hard to
great.
feed myself.
And then we don't have to clean up or really like make any decisions about what to pull out. You just go up and you're like, I think
Or
I want a
feed
cheese
additional
plate.
people.
I want a cheese plate for lunch today. I'm good with
Ooh,
that.
we ate so many sandwiches. Oh, those.
Yes.
So the thing about the midnight sandwiches. Oh, hey, Wubby. Here's my boy. My cubby Wubbles came. My
I'm
puppy.
not sure where Remy is. That's
Oh,
concerning.
I lost you all. There we go. Hi.
But yeah, the sandwiches were great. They probably had like homemade
So
mayo or something
the
in them.
the sandwiches at dinner, or not at dinner, but like at second dinner, third dinner, fourth meal, whatever you want to call it,
We are midnight sandwiches, basically.
our midnight sandwiches. The thing is that they were not fancy at all. But
No, they were
as
so
you
good.
said it, they were like white bread, but they didn't stick to the roof of your mouth. And I
Yeah,
don't know how that qualifies as a better sandwich necessarily, but yeah, the whole not sticking to the roof of your mouth,
that's
white
why
bread
I don't like
sandwiches.
eating a white bread sandwich because it like sticks to everything. And
I
and
was
you
like, I don't
know,
know why that's relevant, but you're completely right.
yeah, it's like Chantal made fun of me of how often I brush my teeth on there. So that's
It's
like a very
obsessive.
serious issue with me. But
You learn a few things about some people when you have to, live with them. But we did not murder each other.
we did
We
not. We
didn't
did not one
even
time
really
think about it.
squabble. I mean,
No. I
Did you
did put my
share a
foot
room
down.
or did you guys have separate rooms?
No, we shared a
no,
room
we
the
were
entire
together.
time.
We were like this far apart from each other.
The entire time. Yeah.
There was
Wow.
no private conversation. The kids would be like, I want to see Chantal. Where's
Yeah.
Stephanie at? Blah, blah, blah.
They're funny. They're cute.
They knew. I'm going to get started on this project, I think.
Oh goodness. That one was
Oh my
awesome.
gosh. That is
So that is
beautiful.
Liberty of London done in Liberty.
So is that paper piece? Like what is that situation?
So it is applique,
Okay.
but it looks to me like it is raw edge applique using Liberty, Tana lawn, and quilting cotton fabrics. And
So
it is
there,
multiple layers beyond layers beyond layers. I looked at the pattern the other day. I was on the floor, like all excited because my
Chantal lives
habit.
on the floor. Lives on the floor. I did not know this
So
about her until we
Stephanie
got there.
brushes her
Chantal.
teeth excessively, and I can't help myself but sit on the floor to do anything. Especially when I get excited about something, it's very hard for me to sit in a chair. I just want to, I got to get on the floor and spread out over a vast amount of space. So,
How big is it?
how big is this? Let's see. It's not huge. It's a wall hanging, 20 by 25.
Oh, okay.
But I have a feeling that you could like
Make
up
it bigger.
this. Yeah. Now, can I
So
afford to up this?
yeah, it
No.
was very expensive at Liberty. Even I stuck to all the sale stuff. And then what you don't think is they're like, this is how many euros it is. It's 1 times 3 that for US dollars. And you're like, oh yeah, that was
Wait,
more
were we in
expensive
we
than I
were in
thought it would be.
pounds there, which was
Oh yeah,
even
pounds.
worse
Yeah.
for exchange rate. Yeah, and you're like, at least it's bigger, a meter is bigger and it was wider fabric. So we had that going for us. Um,
I don't think the lawn was. Was the lawn wider?
yeah,
Is it? Okay, you've
yeah.
touched it since you got home, so you know
Yeah,
better
it
than me.
does not fold down to the right
The same.
size at all. No, it does not go onto the boards the same way. Although I have a lot of it on the boards, but you have to do an additional fold of about this much on the bottom.
Yeah,
So it's wider.
that works.
Okay, this has many, 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 many steps.
I'm just impressed you actually have a thing done. Like we were in Heathrow waiting for our plane to like come in, and Chantel's on the floor
On the
again,
floor.
cutting out these cardstock pieces and prepping them. I
So
think
that
you
I
were
can
like,
English paper piece it.
there were like 2 things where like Chantel was just so happy. And one was when we found Neon Betsy and we thought it was all sold
Oh,
out. We went
it's
back to
so
Liberty the second
pretty.
day because Chantel wanted to like just experience the shop.
Look,
And
so pretty.
as
It's
we're
so
like
bright.
just loitering around in the fabric area. Um,
As I am like dealing with the emotional issues I have because I went all the way to England to get neon floral fabric and to find out they don't have any in stock.
yeah.
None.
But then they roll out these pallets of fabric filled with Neon Betsy. And so I had this photo of Chantel
there's
like about to
another neon
cry,
fabric.
holding a bolt of fabric.
Like, look at all that neon green in there. So
Yes,
pretty.
she was so very excited.
I
And
have
I
my
think
fabric.
you had your hopes up because like as we were walking to like figure out how to get there in the first place, we popped by this store, which I texted Ray and John from RD Travels, and I was like, the store made my ovaries hurt. And it was the cutest kid stuff
It
known
was
to man.
so
It was so
good.
adorable.
I should
And
have bought those shoes.
they had these like exclusive, well, I have the name of the store still.
Me too.
But
I remember it because it's called Trotters, and all I can think of is the trots.
of course, Donna Forrest.
Naturally.
Have we seen Donna before?
I don't know. Have we?
Donna. I don't know if we've seen you before. So we're gonna at some point have an actual manifest of everyone in here so we know to approve people. But Donna, will you answer on the YouTube chat what WOF means to a quilter? And if you answer correctly,
WOF.
yes, Wilson Owl Ferret. I don't know
You
why I
will
thought of
win
ferret.
access
Yes.
to.
But yeah, so Chantel's just like about to cry with this. And then the other was when we were like getting ready to pack, and I think you had used every single glue stick you had, and you saw I had a crap load. I was like, just take some, Chantel. I'm not gonna make it through these.
Well, I knew I wanted to do that project. I picked up this little English paper piecing project that was like a pillow. It was supposed to be a pillow, and I made a pillow. I made an
You
English
did.
paper piece project and finished it within a week, and it has the cutest fringe. It's all upstairs. I'll have to grab it later, but I even did fringe on it. I quilted it, even though it did not require that. But I mean, Stephanie's like, you should hand quilt that. And I was like, you know what? I should.
It's small enough.
It is small. It's petite. It was like 12 by 12, but it ended up just adorable and kept me busy for several hours. So, you know, busy hands, quiet mouth.
She was
My
also
motto.
shocked that I had absolutely no hand sewing with me on the 6.5 hour plane ride, but I had other stuff that I was working on. So,
Just,
work stuff.
that was insane to me. I mean,
It
I
was
always
insane.
have hand sewing with me everywhere I go.
I sometimes
It's like
do,
part of my
sometimes
wallet.
don't, but you should
But I
watch
think everybody noticed that.
Bernadette Banner's latest video because Donna answered correctly. You have gained admission.
Congrats, Donna.
Very good. She oh, what was I even saying?
Bernadette
Oh,
Banner's
Misty, we
latest
miss you
video.
too.
I literally just finished what you were saying.
But yeah,
Her latest
it was a lot of
video,
fun.
she
Oh yes, her latest video, she talked about like what you would need to sew in the apocalypse if there was no more electricity. And she has this like bag of hand sewing stuff because you know she loves her hand sewing too. And I thought of you when I watched it.
I have my apocalypse bag of sewing ready. In fact, I
Yes,
think I'm going to do some little pieces now. I haven't hand sewed in 2 days, so I
you
have
can't handle
withdrawals here.
yourself. How are you like
Can't.
surviving right now? That's what I want to know.
I'm in between projects. That's the problem.
Okay,
I
I'm
have
gonna
no
attempt
particular project I want to do.
to organize myself a little better here. What am I doing with my life? I don't know.
Were we having that conversation again?
We are sometimes. Speaking
What
of
are we doing?
conversations we're supposed to have again, Gwendolyn had questions about what to bring to a quilt retreat because you're going to one. Is it your
Yes.
first one?
My first one this summer, I'm going to. So I am curious what your guys' packing lists look like.
So let me turn my computer on.
Stephanie
You
told
see?
me to try to pre-cut as much as possible, and I have to admit that was a very good
Yes,
tip.
because you don't want to spend your time there cutting. You want to just be ready to go. So anything you can do to like pre-cut, like mark the backs of half square triangles, stuff like that. Do that ahead if you can. These bins, they're scrapbooking bins. I get them at Michael's, and I like the clear ones because you can see what's in it really easily.
Yeah.
I just keep my projects in there anyway. But it makes it really great when you're going somewhere to sew because everything's in it. And so even if you don't do that as a practice, if you do it for like the trip, then you can just like, everything's in there. You can get it out. You can pack it away at the end of the night. Or like if you're tired of it, you want to move on to another project and not have stuff everywhere. That I find is really helpful. It helps keep me organized. I would bring a variety of projects from like a mental effort standpoint because there will be times when you like all I can do right now is maybe mark the backs of some half square triangles
Oh, that's a good
or
idea.
do some binding on a quilt. Um, and
Yeah.
then there will be times where you're like, I'm ready to paper piece. And so, there's different moments for that. And I think that that really helps. And then I usually bring one or two more projects than I think I can reasonably do because you don't want to run out. Not that I've ever had that problem. But you also don't want to like pack your entire sewing studio with to go with. So like
And
when
sometimes you just are in a different mood.
yeah, you got to switch
You
it
know,
up
like you don't do the entire Christmas project you went on retreat to do.
like that. Yeah, there was that. Like our last one, I had one king size quilt that needed to be sewn together. Like all the blocks had been done for years and it just needed to be pieced. And then I had this quilt that I'm loading on tonight that just needed to be pieced. It's like not quite a queen, but close to it. So I knew that those will take time to do. And then I brought a quilt that needed to be bound. Um, which I didn't get to. And I brought Tula Nova, which again I didn't get to. But I had them there just in case. And then I had a Christmas project that I cut to bring out there that I did get some work done on, but not a lot. So it's like, you don't want to be like, oh, I didn't get to all these things that I brought with. And I think like the first time I packed to go to retreat, like I couldn't see out the back window of my sedan. That's
Well,
too
that's what
much.
I don't want to do because I
Yeah.
want to be able to like stop at places and stuff at like at antique shops or thrift
Yeah.
stores. And if I find something, I want to be able to pick it up.
Well,
I
and you
will
also
say
want to,
some people bring a chair. If you have a
yeah,
favorite chair, this is what I learned as we had very inadequate chairs
yeah,
on the one trip that Steph and I did. Um, Now most retreat places are going to have adequate chairs, but
well,
if you
not
have a
always.
favorite thing, bring your
Like,
favorite thing.
even like we ended up grabbing throw pillows off the couch to raise our short butts up enough to
That's
sew
true.
comfortably at the table. Um, and so even if you have like a chair cushion or um some kind of a back support to help you sew longer, those things are helpful. And if
Agreed.
they allow you to bring like wine, bring wine. Because you'll want to kick back at the end. Some places don't, like you're at like a church camp or something.
I need to
Um,
add that to my list right away.
yeah,
Right away, top of the
Right away.
list. Favorite beverage of choice. But
bring some
do bring
booze.
your favorite snacks and beverages and don't bring
Yeah,
peanuts because there are people that'll die like me.
yeah, snacks are great. You need salty and sweet snacks for sure because you will. And I like ones.
You need a friend that can make cheese platters really well.
Yeah, that's me. But
Yeah.
I like to have ones that don't leave residue on your hands or like anything sticky. So like I don't eat fruit when I'm sewing, for example, unless it's in a smoothie. Because I don't want to have to stop what I'm doing to like then go wash my hands. So like I would eat like a goldfish, but not a Cheez-It when I'm sewing, for example.
Huh.
But
I'm more just conundrumed with the fact that Cheez-Its are more messy than goldfish, and I never really thought about that.
yeah.
I think that they only have two refrigerators, like one in the kitchen and then one like in the craft room and stuff. And so I am concerned about having refrigerated goods. So I'm trying to think of dry snacks that are good for my diabetic mother.
Some people will get like a block of ice and bring a cooler that they just leave outside.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Um, Usually I just see people put like drinks in there. So that way they're not taking up freezer space with like their preferred thing, you know?
I will say pantry food's really, really hard for diabetic, but your best bet is unfortunately the pork rinds. Yeah,
Oh,
but pork rinds,
Well, my
made
mom
of
loves those.
pork.
I don't care for them, but she loves them. So that's a good idea. I can pick up some of those.
Yeah, those usually are not a big blood sugar raiser. No low carb, no carb kind of option. Slim Jims, things like that. But then if you
I
do need a
love
little
beef
bit of
jerky as
sugar
a
to
snack.
beef jerky, yeah, that's a good
Yes.
one.
Like, what is
I
the
just
thing?
eat a lot of cheese.
What is the, are there any things that you think that are like small things that you might miss taking that you're like, oh, you should really take that? Like, I just thought of it the other day. I'm like, oh, maybe I should take a couple spools of thread. So I'm literally had
Bring
it
the
on my
right
list because I
colors.
see myself forgetting to take thread, you
Yeah,
know?
you want obviously your thread, your needles.
Make sure you have bobbins for your machine. Make sure your
If you can
machine,
pre-wind some, that's nice.
yeah.
I make myself a checklist with like where I can like check off to make sure I have everything, and I'll do it by like clothes, food and snacks, sewing type things. Because I've forgotten my machine presser foot before, or like the foot pedal, and then I had to drive
Oh,
back. And thankfully it was like a 40-minute round or one way. So it wasn't like awful, but it would
still,
have been
yeah. Make
awful
sure
if I
you
would have
bring the
forgotten it there.
pedal to
Yeah.
your machine. Critical.
Like a surge protector can be nice. Um, Bed risers are really nice because then you can use them to raise whatever workspace you have up if you're doing cutting. Um, but I would just get like,
That's a good tip, bed risers.
I would just get like, I got
And they're not,
everything I think that I needed in a tub, like one of the storage tubs. So it doesn't have to be like a big deal of like everything that you need to pack.
Meeting is being recorded.
I think I had like 3 project bins for that one, maybe 4. No, I had 3 project bins and then kind of Chula didn't fit in one, so that was kind of its own thing. And
so how much like fabric, like uncut fabric for projects
none.
do you guys take?
I don't bring any.
I try not to bring any.
Well, I don't know if you can hear me. Hold on a second.
I can hear you.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
All right. So I don't know if you can see me.
I can see you too.
My laptop is trying to come back on now. So now I have you in 2 places.
You
Nice.
might just echo. Do you want me to kick out your laptop?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. I don't
All right,
know. It just went off. And it's like,
I've removed your laptop.
yeah, it's off now. Great.
Okay.
So I'm just sitting here cutting out some well, I got a new ruler for stitch and flip blocks because I absolutely hate them. And I'm doing a block of the month with a local quilt shop, and it has a ton of stitch and flip stuff. So I'm using it and I love it. So you just lay the ruler on your 2 pieces that you put together and trim it off, sew it and press it, and you're done. No marking, and they come out perfect. So
That's good.
I'm loving that.
I want to see that ruler.
Okay, hang on. Let me flip you
That sounds
around.
like fun.
I do still press stitch and flip seams open because I'm that extra.
So how do
But
I got to figure out how to flip my camera. So, or maybe I can just hold it up.
That's
It's
probably the best way to do it.
It's called a Doug Leko. So Leko, and it's called a mini simple folded corners.
Oh,
So
I've seen that, but I didn't know what that was exactly.
so here's my piece. Like there's my piece, right? That
Yeah.
to trim this part up here off.
Yeah.
And you uh-oh. It came back on the laptop.
it's talking to you.
Or
I had a crap load. I was like, just
let me close it.
That's fine.
Oh no, it's still good.
You just have to mute YouTube if you're on there.
There, it went off. It went off when I shut the
There
lid.
you go.
Okay. But anyway, you just lay the ruler, let me show you real quick. So it's got a solid line here And then this is other stuff. But anyway, you just lay your, sorry about that.
You're fine.
Okay.
So you just put that solid line on the edge. So it would be like that.
Uh-huh.
So your little piece that you're going to be, adding to
Yeah.
your longer piece, that's where you line up the solid line. And then you just trim this part off, and it's got your 1/4 inch in there. So you just sew a 1/4 inch and then flip your piece up.
That
Oh,
works.
It's like, oh my gosh, let me show you. I don't know if you can see this or not.
So
I'm
what
doing
ruler
a
is
stitch and
that,
flip right now.
Okay,
Donna, that you're using? What ruler is that?
it's called the Doug Lecco Mini Simple Folded Corners. And this does from 1/2 inch up to 3.5 inch. But look at all these pieces. Every single one of these are stitch and flip, except for these. So can you see all this? And then I've got this one over here that was showing you. So, and I had 2 blocks, but this is the block. Let me show you that block. So I'm doing 2 colorways.
Ooh, that's fun.
So that's, I don't know which way to go there. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see it.
fun.
But anyway,
Yes.
I did this one. It's like, oh my gosh, I didn't have to mark anything. I just laid it on there.
I'm haphazard. I just don't mark it and I go for it. And I have a lot of failure rate, but I guess
Well,
I'm happy for it.
way I would just mark it, a little bit over to the, a little office center when I would mark them so that they would come out right. But I was having to mark every one of them, right? So now I just lay my fabrics down and yeah. So there's
That's
the
cool.
cut it. It's ready to sew. And it's got the 1/4 inch.
Nice.
You don't have any trimming to do or anything. So I'm going to stand here and cut all my pieces off. And then it works so you can lay it either way. So it'll cut from the right side or the left side, just however you lay it on your
Okay, can you show it again?
the ruler.
I think Gwendolyn wants to buy one right now.
Yeah, I'm like totally thinking that I have like
Enamored.
3 projects that this could be useful for. So I'm curious.
I need to figure out how to switch that around so you can see it, but that's the
No,
name of.
Yeah, I
And
can see
here's
that.
and
Show
here's
me
the,
how you're using it again.
pardon?
Show me how you're using it again, please.
Okay.
We want the tutorial again. That was actually
All right. So
fascinating.
here's my piece, right? I've got them right sides together and I'm going to trim this from here to here and cut this part off. So you just it's got a solid line here that I'm going to lay and line up, trying to do it backwards.
So you're cutting it before you're sewing.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's what you're doing. So hang on. I'm because I was backwards. I've got it absolutely wrong. There we go. So then I just there's a solid line like right here, and that's where I put it at the bottom of this piece right here, right? I put that solid line on the bottom of this little square, and then I line this side up, right? And you just trim this off. You lay it down, trim that off, and you end up with this.
And then you can just stitch right. Oh, perfect.
You just set it together, like you want it, right? It's kind of like Aki quilt. It reminds me of Aki quilt, the way you, everything lines up. But anyway,
Very clever.
So it's like, oh my gosh, because there's so many things that I've like put aside. It's like, oh, I don't want to mess with it, right? Because it's stitch and flip. There's I think it's called a friendship quilt. It was a Missouri Star one, but it was a bunch of little stars, kind of like like friendship stars, right? And they went around in a circle on this quilt. And I really wanted to make it, and it's like I put it off and put it off and put it off because it's stitch and flip. It's like I don't want to mess with those. I hate those blocks, right? And now
Everybody has their vein, their one that is the vein of their existence.
so
Yeah.
now I have to you know,
To me, it's what did I tell you it was, Chantel? I got a quilt and it's almost done, except for doing this. The
Oh,
applique, spray
needle
starch
turn
applique.
applique.
Yeah, no, spray starch.
Oh
Because
yeah,
you
the
get
spray starch applique
beautiful,
because you have to turn
beautiful
everything.
results. You like take a little paintbrush and you go around the edges of your fabric, and then you get like Mylar templates so they don't change shape over time, and you iron it in, and the results are just absolutely fabulous. Everything turns out beautiful
does
instead
that.
of having to like needle turn it, and sometimes things get funky. But
Yeah,
you have to prep it ahead of time, and God forbid I take any time to prep something ahead of time. So
Yeah, that's how I'm
this is
feeling
my
right
problem.
now.
You
I'm
leave
cutting
the
pieces
Mylar.
from like 8 years ago.
You leave the Mylar in?
No, it comes out and you use it over and over again.
Oh, okay.
It's just there to kind of help you hold the shape
You fold the
until
over it
until
and
the spray starch dries when you iron it.
you form it around that. And
Yeah.
then you pull that out after it dries, and then you press it and you're good to go. Yeah, we have several people that hear
I'd
that.
make it out of paper if I were you, and then I'd glue baste it and press it, and then I would take the pieces out. That
No,
way
it's,
I don't.
this makes it have a really crisp finished edge. You don't get what my instructor calls nitinoids. Like your circle is actually perfectly smooth. Your paper would start folding and get distorted, and
Well,
you'd
you
have
could use it. You could use a new paper for every one, like you do when you English paper piece. Is what I'm saying.
You don't
yeah.
reuse your English papers?
I
Well,
don't what?
You don't reuse them?
I mean, I'll reuse them 5 or 6 times, but not in the same project. Usually I have separate papers for the entire project.
Okay.
if you ever do the starch method with the Templar, you'll love it. You won't go
It's
back.
really fun.
It's really nice.
But
You-
again, you gotta like prep it.
I'm
Maybe
curious.
that's what I could do for a retreat. It's just prep all of those.
You should do
or
a demo
avoid
when
for
you
an
do
entire
that,
retreat.
You
Yeah.
should do a demo on that and show us how that's done.
I thought about doing like a bunch of mug rugs and do like all the different kinds of applique in there. Like you got your freezer paper, you have your spray starch, fusible needle turn, which is kind of similar to Hawaiian. I thought that would be a fun one
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
because then
good.
you could have like 4 different really easy to finish projects, each one a different kind of applique. So you're not like committing to do a gigantic thing.
Then you
You
end
just
up with
have,
bows, right? Because they're
yeah,
too
you
big.
just have, basically a fancy set of coasters,
That would be fun.
Yeah. I thought that would be fun.
Yeah, I have a couple of quilts right now to finish that are that exact technique with the starch.
Yeah.
One's a cactus and one's a Christmas quilt. Well, actually 3. One has flowers on it, and they're all done flowers. But yeah.
But yeah, with this particular quilt, it's a Lone Star and it has applique going like all around it. And I have 2 panels done. And I told myself if I could get the center to come together perfect, it was like one of my really early quilts. And I ended up hand sewing it to get those points to come right where they needed to be. And I told myself if I could manage that, then I would do hand applique instead of fusible around the whole thing, which is a lot faster. But
Mhm.
it's been 12 years, maybe. I may have started this like right when I got married or right after. It might be 14, 15 years old. Like I can see it right now in a bit. But hi, Terry. I see you on YouTube.
I do the
But
invisible machine applique after, like on that starch method. Like when
yeah,
I done, then I do invisible machine applique because it just takes me too long to do them all by hand,
yeah.
and my hands won't do that.
I
Won't let me.
probably wouldn't. I would quilt like right next to it to create the puff, but I probably wouldn't do anything on top of it because like you've secured it, right? You know,
Yeah.
it's not like you have to do over it like you would with a fusible, which can come off over time.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of having like fluffy flower petals everywhere.
Put some dimension to them.
That is a case for wool, if I've ever seen one.
Wool with some dream puff.
Yes.
Material,
Well, I
wool-
don't like
wool
the
poly.
dream puff. The dream puff doesn't stay puffy with washes.
It does not,
Yes.
is my understanding too. But great for show quilt.
Yeah. But wool will stay puffy with washes. And if you do like a poly with a wool layered, it's not a comfy quilt, but it does have a lot of puff. But if you just want like puff that will stay puffy, wool is your way to go.
Yeah, I did a custom quilt. My first quilt show last year, I made 4 quilts, but one of them I did a lot of custom on it. And I put the 80/20 in it, and then I put wool on top of that, and then custom quilted it. Just I have the Pro Stitcher, and Mara, and I just, I haven't done free motion really. I haven't really worked with that much, or the ruler work. So I would just program in designs and stuff. But
that's an art all on its own, though.
Yeah, that layering, that batting, like that it just made the quilt like it, it made it all poofy in certain places, stuff. But anyway, I got an honorable mention. I was excited about that.
I would be too.
Yeah. But I don't, when I first got my machine, I was just quilting for the guild for free, learning how to use it. And then I started doing for customers and stuff. And now I don't advertise. It's like, I don't have time to do everybody's stuff. I want to do mine. Kind of selfish.
No, that's not selfish at all. You don't have to monetize your hobby.
That's right.
That's how I ended up with a quilt shop. By accident.
So by accident.
It was really by accident.
So for years I got your the Quilt Addicts Anonymous, the fat quarters every month.
Yes, the stash with Stephanie.
Yeah, stashing with Stephanie. I got so much nice stuff from you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, I have enough.
We stashed.
We stashed. We're good.
We don't have enough, but you know what I mean. It's like I can only put so much in my house, so
I get it. I do, because I'm
my phone holder.
Have a fair amount just on my own at this point. And I know that I'm really not that bad in terms of what I do have. A good chunk of mine is garment fabric that would scrunch up quite a bit if I just actually did something with it. But like
I'm bad.
Like make the flannel pajama pants, for example, that are still staring me in the face right now. They're right down here.
I have my husband was really sweet whenever I got the long arm. I told him, I said, so we have a 3-bedroom house and the bedrooms are all upstairs, and I had a sewing room up there and then a guest bedroom and then our master. And I said, when I get that long arm, I said, I'm gonna have to have 2 bedrooms, right? Unless I use the master, because I said the long arm's going to take up most of one, and then the other I'll have to have for my sewing machines.
We relate. We both have them.
Yeah, and I said, everything that we have in this master will fit in the other guest bedroom, and there's a bathroom right outside of that room. And the only time you ever use the master bath is when you get up at night to pee. I said, and you'll have a bathroom right there. And he said, okay. So I'm very spoiled. I have my master bedroom is my sewing room. So I have that
quite nice.
I have that big master closet for all my fabrics and thread.
Ooh, that is quite nice.
Yeah, a little jealous.
I have like
right now
of things.
My dining room / den right now, and I keep a machine down here just for when I'm downstairs, and then I have one upstairs too. Well, hello there, cutie.
Hello, you're up too late. Oh my gosh, is that the little one?
Yep, this is Maggie.
Oh, when did she get big?
Oh my
And
goodness.
last night.
Last night
That's
she
how
got
How it
big.
feels, isn't it? That is how it
Joanna
feels.
Grace just graduated preschool today.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that's exciting. I saw Susie, or why did I say it like that? Susie, who worked at the shop with us when I was getting backing fabric for this. And she's like, yeah, I saw what Angela, and it was with someone who I didn't recognize. I was like, yeah, it's probably my mother or mother-in-law. And she's like, and I thought it was Lily, but she looks so different. And I'm like, I know, she's getting big. Not ready for this.
Pictures of your girls today, Stephanie. I was like, oh my goodness, are they the same girls?
Yeah. They're getting so big, Angela especially. She's I posted their videos of their
I'm sorry,
recitals
but
to my
Lily has hair now,
Facebook.
so
She
that's
does. It's like to the
that's
middle of her back. It's so
it's
so
weird.
thin though. It's very, very thin, but she's
Okay.
proud of it. So that's all that matters, right?
That's what matters.
Yes.
What
She's
is
very
this
happy with her
cow?
hair.
Who's the cow?
Is it a cow?
Who's the cow?
Someone's got an avatar. I've never figured out how to use those things. I feel old sometimes with technology.
Do you have to like add those on, or do they come with the Zoom?
Maybe the cow can tell us.
This cow's going. Hey,
How do you get?
Missy, tell us.
where's Missy? Go back upstairs. Hey. You need to be in bed, young Missy.
The shy cow.
She might be trying to figure out how to use it.
You say goodnight.
Maybe she's not trying to be a cow. That's what would happen to me.
Maybe we could have our friend who can't show her face could get one of those on when she joins us for Zoom.
Yes.
That could be highly entertaining.
Good night, everybody. Nice.
Good night.
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 Night night.
The bedtime
think-
battles in this house have been,
Bad.
yes, they've been very bad. Like we're in touch with the doctor about like seeing if there's something wrong. So
Oh
pardon
no.
me, not that I've really said a whole lot. I'm gonna make sure
I
she's
saw
in bed today.
you at least 3 times.
Yeah. I'll be back.
It's okay.
I'll be back.
What time is it?
back.
It's almost 11 where we're at. So too late for
But,
a
yeah,
3-year-old to be up. She's
I'm
3
in
now,
Lake-
right? I
I'm
think
in,
she's 3.
I'm in Kills, Texas,
Yeah, Maggie's 3.
Yeah, you're-
That's what you were
you're-
asking.
outside of San Antonio.
Yep, you are same time zone as us then.
Yeah, Central. I was just,
Oh,
she was
I'm
a little,
cutting fabric I didn't even know I owned anymore, guys.
So how many of your projects did you finish on the cruise?
I didn't even
finished
start
one
any.
of my blocks.
It's not about finishing when you're on the cruise. It's about enjoying
I
the
almost got
time
Stephanie's done.
and the process.
Although
A couple people did get mine done. And many people did not, and that's fine. A couple people got Joe's done, which is a small one. I mean, generally you
Beautiful.
want to work small when you're on a situation like that because you can't bring a
you
whole
want it to
lot.
be a teaching opportunity and
Yeah.
not necessarily like this is the quilt that's going on your bed for the rest of your life. Like,
Yeah, like fabric is heavy, obviously, in a suitcase. And so you don't want to take up all your room with that.
are you still loading that quilt?
Yes. Right now I'm dealing with batting that I don't
I
normally
was
use.
gonna say you are fighting that.
Yeah. This is not my preferred batting.
where did
This
y'all
is
go on the cruise?
what was available. We went from it was a transatlantic repositional. So we went Florida to the Azores, which is a volcanic island off the coast of Portugal, and then Ireland, UK, Belgium, and then back to UK. And Chantal and I did an extra like day and a half in London, so we could go to Liberty not once but twice.
'cause that's what you do.
And I spent
Oh,
all
and we
my
saw
money.
Wicked. We didn't
We
get to
did see
actually finish
Wicked.
about our trip.
Yeah, so Chantal, you should tell that story because you made it happen.
Well, it was on one of those boring days where we were supposed to be doing nothing, and I can't do nothing. So
Yeah, we're
I
not
went
very good at
online
that.
trying to figure out what we could do when we're on our trip because planning trips is like one of the few joys I have. And
Chantal very much enjoys knowing what's happening, and I am like, I'll know when I need to know it. And so we
And
were a good pair in that.
yeah, it
'Cause I
worked
was-
out really well.
I was very happy to go with the flow.
She's like, I'm
Like-
not sure how we do this. And it's like, don't worry. I've already read 37 articles on how to make sure that we get onto the tube correctly.
I am going on vacations with you, lady.
I know, right?
Between the two of us, we were an old married couple, basically.
It was, but
We
like,
balanced.
there was no, old married couples, they like snippety at each other
Bicker.
though. There was none
Yeah.
of that. We did really well together. Like we
We
didn't
did.
hate each other. There was like no friendship ending craziness. Like
No, the
everything was
drama
fine.
I mean,
There
the
was
biggest
none.
drama was, are we going to get up and go get the sandwiches, even though it's late?
Yeah, there was that. Well, and then Stephanie's medical drama. But
Yeah, well, yes, that was a separate
that
level
was
of
not
drama.
having to do with you and I. That was just
No, that was
insanity.
just drama.
So they only gave you amoxicillin because it was infected. It's not
It
like
became very infected.
it wasn't
Yeah.
It was very
poisonous spider.
disgustingly infective. Yeah.
Okay.
So like I don't know if you can tell. Like, do you see this dark spot?
Yes.
That was
That
two
was
spider
disgusting.
bites that fused together to become one. And it was bubbly and gross. And she's like, "Did you burn yourself?" I'm like, "No. This is just infected spider bite." So, yes. The combination of that and then not being able to see and not knowing that it wasn't from the seasickness medication, like really being concerned that like my vision was going. I was like, and
Stephanie had
quickly,
medical drama.
yeah, but it was like all at one time, and it was not pleasant. But then like once everything got settled, it was great and fine. But
Yeah.
but
it
for
was
like one
amazing.
day there, I was like,
Having medical issues overseas.
I was like, what am I doing with myself? It
On
was
the
very much
seas.
like
It wasn't
that.
even overseas. We had to drop somebody at Bermuda because they broke their leg or something like that.
Like in their
Oh my
stateroom or
gosh.
something. Yeah. Apparently a
But
lot
I
of
mean, there was
injuries happened in
thousands of people
staterooms.
on this cruise. So,
Yeah.
my last cruise, we had a jumper, aka
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
so
but,
that was
you know.
the title.
He
So
wasn't happy,
Chantel,
huh?
in her planning, managed to get us front row seats to Wicked for $29.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It was so
I
awesome.
like a
What?
bargain.
Front row.
Front
Yeah.
row.
Wow.
It was like a
there's kind
lottery.
of this lottery system. It's not really a lottery. It was more like they opened the tickets for those a week before, and they opened it at like 10 in the morning, their time, whatever. And I happened to log on 5 minutes after they had done that, and they still had tickets for the night that we
were
wanted
gonna
to
be
go.
there.
It was per chance. And I only knew to look for those because I had luckily gotten tickets that way with something else before. So
It was so cool. Like we weren't like
and it
dead
was actually
center.
the seats were good. Like
We were like
sometimes
just
you worry about front row not being actually very good, particularly when they're going to sell them like that. But they sell them like that so everybody has an opportunity to go.
but they were so
But the
good.
people
like, you could
behind us
see-
probably paid $100 each to go.
Wow.
you could see everything. Like we could see like the texture on the costumes and like
I
the
could see
things
the
were
spit.
quilted. Yeah, we could see the spit. It was so
The
good.
costumes, they wouldn't let us take pictures, but I have burned some of those into my memory.
It was
Like the
so
way
good.
that they pleated it and and those
It was
must have been
amazing.
hot.
Yeah. And especially all the moving around they did.
Y'all were
Sorry,
meant
what
to,
was that?
y'all
Donna?
were meant to, you were meant to go.
We were.
Oh,
It was
I
so
think we
cool.
were.
It was so cool.
It worked out
Maybe
really
you could
well.
get like VIP backstage passes or something.
Oh, that would have been awesome. I mean, we were as close as you can get to these people, so I was happy with what I got for sure.
Yeah, it was
I
so
was
cool.
not expecting it to be.
So was the production all by, like English?
Yeah, well,
Europeans?
it was London Broadway essentially.
Okay.
So
Okay.
And
it
like
was
they played it
amazing.
with English accents. They didn't play it with like American accents. And like they
But I wouldn't
changed.
say that it was heavy by any means.
No, like you definitely, it wasn't like you had some Cockney accent. It was like what you
Oh no,
think of.
I feel like that would be part of the nostalgia of it though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want
it
to.
had a little twang of it, if you can
Yeah.
consider it twang.
I
Definitely.
wouldn't consider it twang. I would
But
consider
you
how
know what
we
I mean, like
sounded twang.
a little flavor of British
Yeah.
accent.
I
I
mean,
love
it's
a good
mostly
British
singing.
accent.
I cannot find something that I need a long arm. My bottom one is not like it moves a lot. So I have a
Oh,
clamp.
So
Do I
besides
know where the
food,
clamp is? I do.
no.
besides food and besides teaching the class, what type of things on the ship did you guys do for fun? Like, did you go to any, I don't know, dances or
There were
shows or
shows and things
games?
like that, although we didn't do a
We
lot of the
honestly
shows.
didn't go too much.
We were
We spent a
excited
lot of
to
our evening
sew.
like in the sewing room because that was fun.
That was fun.
So
Like
the
they
sewing room was like open 24/7?
Yeah.
it was. We kind of said that
Yeah.
we would be there um
Because we
in
wanted to be there.
in like 8 to 10. And so that's kind of when people got there. But I did see those photos a couple of days ago, Stephanie. I can't believe they're so big. I saw your dress pictures. And I
Did I
also
say-
wondered what happened at your day at work. But
Oh, that. No, just
not that you want to tell everybody live on the internet,
oh no, it's
because
fine.
you
It's
probably
fine.
still want to have a job.
It was just I was working on a rather difficult alteration that was taking several hours to do.
You were having an altercation.
Yeah, there you go. There was a really pretty like dress out of a really silky material that had cuffs and a buttoned vent that the customer wanted shortened. So I had to like take the cuffs off, take the vent off, move everything up, pin everything back in place. And it was just, I mean, this was taking a long time. And I looked at the price sheet to see how much she was going to get charged. And she was only going to get charged like $25 for this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
Seriously.
definitely not worth your time.
Yeah. I was like, if I were doing this at home, like this is ridiculous.
I
Yeah.
used to do sewing and alterations back in Arkansas when I lived there.
Yeah.
I worked at a couple of different dry cleaners, and sometimes you think about those things they want done. It's like, why didn't you just buy what you wanted? It's like they want you to remake the entire outfit or whatever it is.
Well, and they don't know better unless you charge them for what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I went clothes shopping today with my older daughter. She was supposed to have like a field day, and there was this massive storm that went through and knocked out power to where they were going to have field day. So she ended up having a girls' day with mom, and mom got no work done. So, oh well. So we're at like Target, and they have those like sheared waistband pants, and we found this one that looked really cool. But it fit her perfectly in the length, but it was so big in the waist, like there was nothing that could be done about it. And I looked at how it was made. I was like, this would be really complicated to change because you'd have to redo the whole waistband and how the pants go, and then the pockets wouldn't line up both for the back and for like the inset pockets. I'm like, you'd be better off to just make your own. Like, this is not worth taking it all apart for like Target pants, you know. But
Yeah.
so we did scope out at Joann's. They have some pre-sheared fabrics that I think we're going to make like a dress out of, because that's totally something that she would be capable of doing at this like point in her life. sewing life. So I think she would have fun with that and have something that actually fits. But
How
I'm
old is
kind of
she?
getting sad. There's no cats today.
she's 10.
Oh, 10. Yeah.
Yep, turned 10 on the cruise. Brought her back a cupcake from her favorite YouTuber who is a bakery
I
in
got that
Soho.
through.
So that was a lot of fun.
To bring a cupcake all the way through.
Yes. It was really bad by the time I made it back. I'm blaming the Boston airport for that.
Everything
my
that
God.
went wrong was the Boston air.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I feel like this is
I
the
don't think
final,
we
like,
should tell them about. I just do
it was
yourself
not
a
very,
favor.
it was not very accessible.
Avoid Peter
Yeah. So
from
I
American
was not gonna,
Airlines in the
I was not
Boston
going to
airport.
say his name, just an
He
FYI.
deserves to have his name said. He's the
But
only Peter there is.
apparently, he was a man who is used to getting his way. So Chantal and I were not going to the same final destination. So the travel agents booked us to be able to go like the long flight together from London to the States. And then we went our separate ways from there. And so Chantal was on the same airline and I was on a different one. And from there. And so Chantal's like rechecking bag experience was pretty smooth. Both of our luggages were over a little bit because we bought way too much fabric and souvenirs while we were gone. And
My stuff didn't fit in mine. I
yeah,
left things behind.
I still have some of her things too with my luggage. And so we flew JetBlue.
Yeah.
JetBlue has a courtesy where if you're a little over, they let you go. And so we both were a little over. And I've never flown internationally before, but Chantal has. She's like, yeah, you just walk it over, they recheck it, and you go on with your day. And because I was wondering, am I going to have a problem knowing that we're a little overweight? And the short answer
She
was
did.
yes, it was a big problem. And there was a guy supervisor there who was not,
Named
now I'm not going to say his name. We have too many people. It's not worth calling him out. But
No,
he
the
was
nice
used to
guy was
getting his
nice.
way. He automatically assumed I'm just some Karen who doesn't want to pay for an overweight bag. And he we had been up for, I don't know, probably close to 24
An
hours at this point.
entire day at this
Yeah.
point, like
I
almost
had
24 hours.
30 hours of travel with about maybe 4 hours of sleep, including 2 hours that was at a gas station because I couldn't make it an hour and a half home. And so we were going there, and long story short, he's having none of this. And rather than telling me, like, sorry, it's just our policy, I can't let it go over, there's cameras everywhere, I'm not able to make an exception, he was just a giant jerk about it.
And harassing.
Yeah, like a big bully, like making me think I'm gonna be like flagged as a security problem and not be able to make it to my destination at all. And so I'm on the floor. I
We're
cried.
fragile at this point, okay? And
I
I'm not
cried.
there because I'm at a different
Yeah.
area at this point.
At this point, I usually only cry if somebody has like physically died. Like I am not a crier. And I'm on the floor, the American Airlines terminal, pulling 6 pounds of dirty underpants out of one suitcase to transfer to another, like fighting off tears for this. And
In
finally,
front of everybody.
like there's so many people. And so like my Spanx are on there, all that shit. And this guy gives no shits that I'm about to break down. No pity whatsoever. I'm just a Karen trying to get her way and acting it out, apparently. And so, but some other guy, I think, took pity on me and was like, you're good. So I shove, like, really had to work to get the other bags closed. And it goes. And I'm still worried that we're maybe a little overweight here. And I went over to the guy and I was like, can I please have your name and ID number? And that's when he was not used to being challenged and he turned into a grade A, you know what? And I ended up emailing American. I have yet to hear from them about it. But anyway, he was a total jerk. And
Follow up. Do not let that go. Because
Yeah.
listen, that is their like job. Like it is their job. Travelers, they get tired. They're exhausted. It is their job to be patient and to be kind.
And he was
I mean,
not
if he has
just,
to give you your way, what it means is he needs to be nice about whether he gives you
Yeah.
your way or not.
there's
Right.
a
You're
totally
back in the
different way.
States. You have choices in the
Yeah.
States. Once, like, it was a domestic flight at that point. You
Like,
have a
I
million
am-
other choices of places. You were going to O'Hare.
I am
Like-
an American Airlines like travel rewards member. Like this is where I choose to fly from if I can do it, and I'm not doing that again. And he wasn't just like that with me. There was a fair amount of people coming in from other countries, and you could tell that English was not their first language, and he was being a jerk to them. Man, woman, it didn't matter. He just was on a power trip and
Wow.
was gonna stay on it.
Service, and what that is, customer service. So that was really bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it
glad.
was really, really bad. And he was just rude for the sake of being rude. And then
Nobody
when I
messes with my friends.
when I
God,
asked
get
him
back
about
out
it,
of the wine and bother him about it.
when I asked him for that, rather than respond to me, he went to the person who checked me in and goes, "What was that customer's name? Who is she?" And so I'm at this point concerned that my bag is going to get pulled and weighed again. I'm still not going to make it on this flight. I'm going to be deemed a security risk. And so I'm just trying to get his name. He's trying to get me to write whatever complaint is on my boarding pass and give it to him. And I'm like, no. And I finally just gave it up because I'm like, it is not worth maybe not making it home to like bring this any further in a personal way. And I did talk with their customer service, but there's like absolutely no way to talk at a local level about a local employee, which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's why I
Obviously,
can do it.
somebody supervises him. He's not his own. He was a supervisor, but he's
Nothing more
obviously not his
dangerous
own.
than a middle manager.
I guess they have to justify their existence somehow.
That's why John David's going to be a middle manager. I know it.
Well, hopefully he won't be like that.
He'll be a nicer one though, or his mama's going to be a.
He had better, or they're gonna call you, and I'm gonna also be like, John David, come on now.
John David, man.
Aunt Stephanie says you stop being a jerk.
I mean, you need to chill yourself down.
Although I would probably
You need to
yeah.
do that anyways.
Oh,
But yeah, slow your roll, friend.
But yeah, it was not pleasant. Everything from then on out was fine, except for a really hilarious thing. Oh, the Peoria airport where Chantal is, that's where we flew out of. And there's like rows where you like park your car, and they gave me like a little like business card that had my row in it. It was row F3. So by the time I got in, it was late getting in, so the shuttle was gone. I'm rolling around like 3 big, heavy luggages around the parking lot, which
So
is
big.
very large, for 40 minutes trying to find my car. I'm going up and down the aisle, hitting my button, and I can't find it. And I've been up and down like 4 rows, and I ended up finally calling 911 to be connected to airport security to help find my car. The sheriff ends up coming up, and apparently this is like a totally normal thing that they get called to help with all the time.
Seriously.
Yes. So I couldn't find my like, stupid car because it was in row F5 and not F3. So at least I hadn't lost my mind. But I was like, I don't know if I'm just too tired or if it's not here or if my battery is dead on my clicker thing. I don't know. But I located it. I drove 45 minutes before I was like, I have to sleep. And I called my husband and told him where I was and parked at a truck station place under a giant light and slept for 2 hours. And then he's like, well, make sure you set yourself an alarm because I got to be at work in the morning. I'm like, I don't know what you think, but there's no way I'm going to sleep like a whole night in my car. Like,
Well, if I pull
I am
over,
a woman. This
I
is not
always-
a safe situation.
if I pull over and sleep, I always find a place that has a camera, like at a bank or, you know, at Walmart or, you know, some place that has a camera that if something happens, they got it on video.
Yeah. That's smart. I should not that I hope to ever be in that situation. But it was 30 hours of travel. And Chantal went straight into
I
a
went
water park with
to,
her children.
yes,
So there's that.
What were you
So
That
you
was
should
a
tell
thing.
your experience.
I don't really
You
want to
didn't
have to relive the trauma.
You didn't get to sleep. I got to sleep for a long time and you did not.
I did not. No, I mean, I may have fallen asleep in the middle of bedtime and somebody was very irritated with me. And I was like, you do realize, like I don't give two right now about how you feel about me falling asleep because I've been up for 24 hours and I didn't go into a job that requires sleep deprivation. I deprive myself for my art, but you know what's not going on right now? Art. So I'm gonna go to sleep.
I don't think
Yeah,
my
we had a
husband
wedding
got
and
the
everything.
homecoming he was expecting either. So it's all good.
Oh
Have
my
you,
God, poor men. Poor
has he
men.
recovered yet? Or is he still like, I did so much while you were away?
He
'Cause
is so
my husband's
grouchy.
very much in that state still.
I mean, kind of rightfully so, in that he has a lot of work that he needs to do and take care of. And he's trying to let me do some of the things that I need to do and a few of the things that I want to do so that, it can be his turn. But, you know,
My husband gets uh 1 night, 2 nights to himself this weekend. So I think he's gonna
Oh.
cherish that.
It's like the last couple of nights I've fallen asleep before my kids could even like get into bed, even though, like the two older ones. And so they're coming in and they're like, Mom, turn on my story. And I'm already asleep. And they're like, Mom, I told you to turn on my story and you said that you would. I was like, did I? Okay. And then I fall back asleep immediately. So I'm really like, I'm dying right now. You can probably see
Yeah.
it in my face.
This is the latest I've been up since we got back. For sure.
It probably doesn't help that I'm trimming squares right now.
Yeah, maybe pick a different activity.
I found an activity I can finally do on the amount of sleep I've had. So this is as good as it gets, I think, for
Okay.
tonight.
That's fine.
It was either
You'll have-
that or just sit there.
You guys will have to tell me if the long arm is too noisy. Because I've never attempted this with,
Never attempt on
The-
live video.
well, yeah, on live video, definitely not.
Do you have the noise suppression on?
I don't know. Just, I'm about to run it. Let me know.
Let's find out.
We don't hear
Okay.
anything yet. I don't hear anything yet, at least.
Perfect. I'm not like going
Yeah.
at full speed or anything, but
No, I didn't hear a thing. I didn't even know you were doing it.
Yeah.
fabulous. That'll be good. This opens up many possibilities for my Friday night.
Good. Yeah, I'd like to know about mine too, because I feel like mine would be way too loud and
Mine is very loud. So the fact that you guys can all hear me.
That long arm running, I'm
I
surprised.
can hear you and I can't hear the machine at all.
Yeah, Stephanie's heard it in person. It's noisy.
It's a loud
Same.
one.
Same
Yeah.
here. I can't hear your machine at all. I
Yeah.
can't hear anybody's sewing machine.
Can you
I
hear my
got
rotary
these.
cutter? Kidding.
I got these headphones to do a podcast with Angie, and then she like canceled on me twice because she had like life things happen. And I was like, man, I've spent too much money on these, but
That's
they really
okay.
come
We
in handy
started
for
our own
this.
thing.
We
I
did,
think
didn't
some
we?
of the quilters out there, they need to put out their playlist on Spotify of music for headphones for quilting. I need some pre-made playlists.
I have a 90s workout mix that Chantal and I listen to, so
Not bad.
it's ridiculous.
I'm old school and I'll just put on Pandora and it just plays whatever the music that I like. Just plays its own. If I don't like it, comes
I
up.
like Pandora.
I haven't
Pandora
listened-
knows me too well. It doesn't give me anything exciting or different anymore.
I listen to audiobooks when I quilt the majority of the time.
I listen to audiobooks.
So what kind
And
of
now that I've discovered I can hook these headphones up to my phone, it's like amazing. except for when my mom comes downstairs at 2 in the morning and scares the bejesus out of me.
Scares you to death? Yeah.
Yeah,
So what
that was not fun.
So what are you reading?
I'm started Demon Copperhead right before we left, and then I didn't listen to anything while we were gone because it was like audiobooks are something I like to do like when I'm by myself. And Chantel and I were like never really by
Never by
ourselves.
ourselves. Yeah.
And
I
we're
listened to an
right.
audiobook while we were gone on accident all night long.
Well,
Well, there you go.
reading and audiobooks and stuff like that, that like winds me down and puts me to sleep.
Does
So
it?
my husband will listen to audiobooks while he drives for long drives, and I don't understand. I would be afraid to fall asleep while I was driving if I listened to
It-
audio.
I'm
You
driving.
got to get a good story. Like
Do it only for a certain amount of time while I'm driving because it does put me to sleep. It depends on the person that's reading the book too.
yeah,
Like
you
if
need a good narrator for
mon-
sure.
if if they're monotone, I might be checking out. Yeah.
Like one of my best books that I ever read as a business owner was The E-Myth Revisited, which the whole premise is basically if you have a job that doesn't make money unless you're doing work, you don't or if you have a business that doesn't make money unless you're working, you don't really have a business. You have the worst job ever with the
Right.
worst boss ever, and that's you. And so that really like changed and made Quilt Addicts Anonymous start to grow significantly. And it took me so long to get through the book the first time. It's read by the author, so I feel terrible saying it, but it's like because the concepts are so good, but it just took me so long to get through his narrative about it, and it did not go. But
How did it help Quilt Anatomics Anonymous Quilt Addicts Anonymous grow?
well,
How
I
did
like
at
the way
the
you said that.
time,
Anonymous.
I know, right? At
Whatever.
the time, I had accidentally opened a quilt store, and before I opened and had like an actual brick and mortar, I would turn over my inventory every 3 months because I didn't have a lot of it. And I assumed that would happen as soon as I added more fabric. And that was very, very wrong. And so I was in a lot of debt and trying to figure out what I was going to do. And we couldn't really afford staff, but I had one anyway, just to kind of help out. And when I knew that our online was growing, but our in-store was not, it was staying really stagnant. And I kind of knew, like, I was working a part-time job myself at the time. I knew that I needed to find a way to focus on what mattered for the business and not work in the business, like work on the business instead of in the business. And so, even though I couldn't afford it, I had this team member come in every single Thursday. I was not going to be in the shop. That was going to be my video filming day. And it allowed me to film the beginner quilting series. It allowed me to film the Jelly Roll Rug tutorial. And those two things put us on the map and it went from like some people knowing who I was when I did a in-person show to people wanting to take photos with me when I did an in-person show, and many people knew who I was. So, and that's what ultimately started the very fast growth that we experienced, was being able to focus on the items that actually like would bring in the money and then letting other people handle what to do with it once the money had been brought in. So the fulfillment, um, anything to do with that. Eventually Stephanie did our customer service because I knew I sucked at that and I still suck at that. And it's like, what do I need to do to make this work?
Do
And
what
what
you're at. Yeah.
what can I delegate to other people where it's going to get done just as well, if not better? And then his whole thing is that everyone should know exactly what needs to be done. Like he thinks you should document everything. Everything should have a manual. And we did that to an extent with like some videos training, especially like during COVID. You can't be with each other, so we need to teach people how to fold stuff so it all goes out the same way. And so eventually, like anybody who packed an order knew how to pack the order so that everybody who packed the order looked the same. and
You had the
everyone took
most
this
beautifully packed
Or-
orders.
exactly.
Also,
So
if you had somebody that was out or sick or on vacation,
you
then
know what to do.
cover the position and they'd know what to do. Yeah.
Exactly. So like we had multiple people who knew how to ship, all the same way, how to pack things, what the best postage rate was for things.
What is the best postage rate?
It depends on the size and where you're at. A lot of this may have changed too. For us, anything over a pound, a lot of times, or probably anything that worked in a box, a lot of times was cheaper to send UPS. I know that there's a new postal service product that might be doing something similar price wise now. But my husband is a UPS driver, so I have to, plug them.
Oh yeah.
But I'm checking tension. Not
Sorry,
sure
I took
like
off
it.
my video. I'm on the floor. So,
Of course you are. But yeah, I highly
I just need
recommend
a
it
floor cam,
for
really.
anybody who is managing a section, managing a department, or trying to run a business. Because a lot of it's like even before you can like afford employees, figure out like what that structure is going to be. So that way you're like, once that does happen, you're fine. Because what a lot of people end up doing is like they grow and then they like someone doesn't do something the way they want it to. So then you're like, instead of saying, okay, well, let's go back and do some more training on this, they'll just take it on themselves as something that they need to take on. And like my husband did this when he managed a department. If somebody didn't do something the way they up to his standard, he would just do it himself. And like that's not the correct answer. The correct
I should
answer is
probably
to
read this book for my
Yeah.
parenting.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would probably help with that too. Like the correct answer is to like give them the guidance they need. So like when I would see, except for like one employee that didn't work out, whenever something, and Stephanie can probably attest to this too, whenever someone didn't do something quite right, I always attributed it to lack of good training or explanation, not the employee messing up. Because especially in the early stages of doing like a new task,
So you took responsibility yourself.
Exactly.
She really
And
did. I think she took on a little too much
I
responsibility.
could
Probably.
totally see her doing that.
Yeah,
I
like,
was definitely very lenient on many things. But
Well,
But
at
yeah.
the point you have to
I remember
realize
one time Stephanie
Oh,
thought like she was gonna be in deep trouble for something. I was like, whatever.
yeah, I was like,
It
I don't
happens.
remember exactly what it was because there was like one or two times that I was like, oh,
I think you were like losing sleep on it or something. And I was like, whatever.
I
We've all done it.
was. I don't remember what it was, and I told you, and like, no big deal. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
This is
Everybody
a
has
parenting book,
screwed
apparently.
something up.
We gentle parent everything.
I do. I had a little actually like not interview, but chat with somebody. And I told them that my management style was basically gentle parenting. Because I'm always going to be like, that was great. I can see your motivation there, but let's try this. And so that's just me. But I don't know. You got to treat people as fully capable adults because they are,
But also don't treat them like shit because they're adults. Like,
Yeah.
I
But
find that I do gentle grandparenting.
that's perfect.
I did strict parenting, but now it's gentle grandparenting.
I think my parents are that way too. They're a lot more calm with my kids. But like this is probably the best example of it. Like the differences in parenting styles. Because my husband is Gen X and he's not on any social media, so he doesn't see anything about gentle parenting. The only thing he knows about it is from me like saying, hey, maybe let's not react that way. And one time Lily watches slime videos on YouTube Kids. and they pour all kinds of crap into the slime. And so
Yeah.
for Christmas, I got her stuff to make slime, and I got her some glitter. And one day,
That's
um,
brave.
we were
Yeah.
in our kitchen, and she was trying to pour some glitter into the slime in the kitchen. And when you add glitter to slime, it's got to be freshly made. It doesn't work if you do it like a couple days later. And this was not fresh slime. So it was all over the place. As one would imagine if you pour glitter all over something in the kitchen. So she recognized this was not how it was supposed to go. She's trying to clean it up. I can see that she's got a paper towel. She's wiped things up. She's trying to wash herself off in the bathroom. And I just hear my husband lose it, completely lose it. And I go in, and Lily's crying. She's really upset. You know, she's only like 3 or 4 at the time. And I walked in and I said, Lily, I can see that you were trying to clean this up. And that was a really good move. You saw that it wasn't working and you were trying to clean it up, and that was good, Lily. And I was like explaining this difference to my dad, and he goes, I probably would have been really mad too. Just
Okay,
like,
I see that all the time with my husband.
Yeah.
Like the same thing. It was just a lot more rigid when yeah,
yeah.
when he was getting disciplined, it was much more rigid. Everything else was very feral in his house, but
Nope. I think I see what the problem is. I got thread problems.
oh no.
I might need my famous scrunchie.
While y'all were gone, I finished a couple more blocks.
Oh yeah,
to
let's see your
color
blocks.
out. Would you like to see them?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So here is one combination.
Nice.
Skulls and hexies.
Ooh.
Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
And then here, me. So that's the skulls with the like, I don't know, variated color of little mini hexies. And then I don't know that I have good light in here. Let's see if that'll work better. This one is like a monster mash.
That's
Fabric.
gonna be so cute.
Cute.
Ooh. That's fun.
And then that's what it looks like up close with a little, like a monster dance party or something, you know? And then this one with the, I guess these are like signs or labels, something like that. And so they're sort of kind of scary. I mean, it's definitely Halloween fabric, but they don't all like say scary things or have scary things. I don't know why my camera keeps moving. I move it down, it goes up. I move it up, it goes down. And so then this is what it's like. So it's got like nerve pills, you know.
Oh yeah, I have some fabric like that too. It's like some of it's poison and some of it's
Yeah.
like regular. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like labels, or I think there's some like vegetable something or opium, you know, that kind of thing on it. I thought it was pretty cool fabric. And then this one is a favorite. And I had scrapped this, even though I had cut it out for these blocks because I couldn't find a good match, but I think I found a good match. Tell me what you think.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contrast there. You can really see the block.
And with you guys seeing Wiccan, I feel like I was channeling you
Maybe.
while you were gone with Wicked Witch, you know, shoes. But I
Pat
love,
on YouTube
love-
says she likes your skulls. Her son would
Oh.
like them.
oh, good. Yeah, those smoke skulls are really cool. But I love the lime houndstooth on that one. And then this is the last set that I got done.
That's fun too.
Oh, how fun.
And so
Oh, that
then
one's good.
so this one had so it's got like the roses with the candles, you know, so it's got like a what it mansion, like a scary haunted mansion vibe. And then with the cute little crows, I just thought it was so fun, the two of them together. So yeah, chugging away at the Halloween quilt.
It looks good.
So by next week, I should have at least 4 more, because yeah, that's 10 blocks, 10 blocks since you guys were gone. So by next Friday, I should have at least 4 or 6 more done, because I am sewing all weekend. I have
Oh yeah, you'll have plenty done.
I have sew groups all weekend. Yes.
I think my
Guys,
tension
you're
stuff is
losing me
not unrelated.
rapidly. I am
Well-
falling asleep.
That's
Get off
because
the
you
phone.
went to the floor.
Get off the
Chantal.
floor and turn your camera back on.
Yes.
Wait, you get on the floor, Chantal?
Tara also says nice for your
Yes.
blocks.
I was trimming things down with my AccuQuilt, and it just works better on the floor. Well, everything works better on the floor.
For Chantal, it does, yes.
You need coffee.
Not
I
this late.
might need something for my blood sugar. Honestly, I didn't really eat dinner. I got my scanner back on.
I had a taco
Nope.
salad when we first went live.
Taco salad.
I feel like food always wakes me up a little bit. You need a good
I
sandwich,
need
Chantal.
white bread sandwich.
I
All
agree.
right.
Food
Sandwich.
always wakes me up a little. It's like if I'm tired and I don't want to go to sleep, my body just wants to start eating to like keep me awake.
All right. So I am actually about to start going with this. So let me know if it's super noisy.
Do you mind if I like say que sera for the night? Actually, I have to cover the entire 3-day weekend because John's on call.
The whole time. That sounds awful.
Basically, he has a lot of work to do that he
No,
didn't
you're
get
good.
done.
I'll
So,
hold
and
down
we're-
the fort for 20 more minutes. It's all good.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 20 more minutes, and
You're almost there. You did good.
I could stay for 20 more minutes, but I'm not going to be much company at this point.
I will
Well,
say that
just
I
tell
told
us
Chantal
about-
we might need to be done by 10:30. And she's
Oh,
like, no,
God.
this is my only time to sew. We have to stay late. You're gonna have to do it.
I
And I'm
mean,
like, okay.
I have cut. Look at how many squares I have sized up.
You have done quite a bit.
Yeah. These have been sitting there for at least 8.5 years.
Okay, Chantel, why don't you show us some of your like loot from the trip?
Oh, I
Since
should,
Stephanie
but
is
maybe
hoarding
I'll
hers
just
until
make
her-
I'm not
everybody
gonna share
wait.
you right now.
Stephanie's not going to show it, so I feel like maybe I won't show it either. Just to make you
You could
wait.
share yours.
Well, my
Rude.
pillow is upstairs. I don't want to. I want to go to bed. Actually, I want some chips and cheese first. That sounds really good.
Oh, that sounds good.
Somebody said taco salad.
I want Cheetos
And
working with fabric, so that's a no-no. I just have
That
to.
is- You
yeah,
know,
that is
you-
a no-no.
I have eaten Cheetos with a spoon while working with fabric. All right, Sherry,
With a
we are
spoon?
getting, yeah, with a spoon. You spoon it in. My husband thought this was the most ridiculous thing he'd ever seen. Okay,
What
Sherry,
about
you,
chopsticks?
I'm not that skilled. Sherry would like to enter. And Sherry, it is getting close to the midnight hour, which is when we get some interesting people joining. So we need to have you answer a quilting question on YouTube if you would like to join the chat. Let's do what is considered grounds for divorce if your husband uses
This
something
item.
to cut paper.
Stephanie.
What?
It is grounds for divorce.
It's ground for divorce. There
I
are
You're
know
many
allowed to
memes
use it
about
in the
this.
murder
the
following
answer is
that.
pretty obvious because
This is true. Maybe we need a different question.
But then again, we've had people just not
Stephanie being
answer before.
cracking up because we're like, what other answer could it be?
Has the person even replied? Because I feel like the last time we asked somebody
They
if they
did reply, but she said scissors, but specifically what kind of scissors?
I need my husband to come in here and weigh in on this. He he knows to leave these items alone, but he will joke about it, and I have gotten violent before.
My husband
We will get-
actually
We will get violent.
may have
Yeah.
used something like this to open plastic packaging once. Very early on in our marriage, and I was
Oh,
like, "What
no.
is wrong with you? Never touch these again."
Oh my
Never,
God,
ever.
they need to put that in the vows.
I know, right?
I'm gone. My husband has sent me a picture.
Fabric scissors. We have the right answer. You get to join.
My husband sent me a picture of some snips one time and said, "Can I have these?" And I'm
Nope.
like,
No.
"Yeah, you can. What do you need?" Well, they were extra pair and they were kind of like different than the ones that I normally use. So I did let him use it, but I was like, "What do you need them for?" I think he was going to trim his mustache. It's like, I'm so glad you asked first.
At least he didn't trim his mustache and then like not tell you.
No.
So
he
Sherry, what are you working on?
that. Yeah, he can't use stuff in my sewing room unless I let him. So got to be approved first.
They should know better.
Well, you have to teach them because they're not going to just know. You have to. Hey,
I will say, my
is it.
husband did, like, he oversaw our fulfillment. And when I came back with that Chula Pink bag, even he said it was cool. And I was like,
Aw.
good answer, hubby. You
My
support
husband's
my
barely asked
insanity.
about my trip. I don't
I
even think
told
he
my-
knows where I went.
I told my husband about the drama, and he was like, "This sounds awful." I'm like 2 days were like not great, and the rest of it was absolutely fantastic.
Wait, what was this?
I ended up with an infected spider bite
Oh, that. Okay.
that was ridiculously expensive to get amoxicillin for,
Mm.
and then around the same time, I also couldn't see because I was having a reaction to the seasickness patch and didn't realize that that's what it was until Chantal was like, "You only have one new drug." And I was like, "Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?" And then I was fine.
I just want to say my fabric little scrappies are just so happy.
She has her own
They go into
bag
the fishbowl.
for Liberty ones now.
I love when Lisa Bonjean, she always saves her little when she cuts the dog ears off and she calls them her quilt seeds and she has a jar of her quilt seeds. I always love that.
Oh,
I always
I have
I
my
always think I
fishbowl.
want to do that one day, but then I never do.
that's fun, Chantal.
This
I would have
fishbowl's
so much. It would be
been
ridiculous.
going for probably 2 years.
And you just put
It's
all your
about
scraps
full.
you would otherwise throw away, like are non-usable.
Yeah,
for-
it's my stringy scraps. It's ones that are like this.
So one lady in our guild, in our local guild, she used to use those and fill Christmas ornaments with the little stringy
Oh, that's a
scraps.
good idea.
Yeah, and give them away at Christmas.
See, I have like multiple fish bowls, and then this one has like the old wooden,
Yeah, school.
yes, spools of thread.
For the ornaments for Christmas, you only put Christmas fabric scraps in those. They don't get just regular scraps. They have to be Christmas fabrics. So
I feel like I would use the ones from all year because that's what I made that year.
That's what
Like a memory
did as
one.
well. She
Yeah.
used them all year. And then like she had different shapes. So like they weren't all round. Some of them were like hearts and some of them were stars. But they were like little glass shaped ornaments that you could just stuff them full of the little fabrics.
That's a really good idea.
They were really cute. They were really cute. And then she would top it with like a little bell and a little bow decorated out.
Aw. I have to go, guys. I'm dying.
Okay. It's all good.
I'm trying, but
Did my headphones turn off? Or can
No.
you hear me?
I can
Okay.
hear you.
It made
Mwah.
noises. Oh, they're flashing red. I
So-
think I'm
Okay,
So
good,
going
long,
out.
friends.
Get good sleep.
Maybe we're almost about done.
Maybe we should just call it a night and I'll go charge my headphones. and it'll all be good. No, it
Okay.
was great to be back with you guys. We'll be back next week. We're not
Yeah.
going anywhere, are we?
Every Friday. No, we don't go anywhere anymore. We can't afford it.
I know, right? We spent all our money on fabric.
It was fun being with y'all tonight. I'm almost done with my
Oh, come
blog.
back.
Finished.
We
so-
yeah, we talk in some sort of organized fashion for about 10 minutes and then it turns into this. So
It's
Well,
all good.
maybe
It's
if-
fun.
Maybe if on Monday, if you guys aren't too busy and stuff with the husband's working, maybe you can do an impromptu live.
I
be kinda
am
fun.
driving a significant amount of Monday.
Oh,
So,
oh yeah,
Probably
and
not.
Monday my kids are home because it's a holiday.
and you're on your own.
Oh,
holiday.
and I'm all by myself.
My house
Don't
has
want the kids all
Saturday.
by myself.
Yeah, I had the kids all by
Anymore.
myself today, and I went into the bathroom when I got home with them at like 6 o'clock, because that was my entire day from 7:30 to 6 o'clock was with children and getting nothing done that I need to get done. And I went into the bathroom and I just scrolled videos for a while, sent several to you, Chantal, some to my sister. And
I gotta look at them all
and
in
he
the middle of
comes
the night
out,
when I wake
he's
up.
like, I thought I was gonna need to send out a search party. I'm like, I just needed a minute. I was
like,
not
just
really
put a
doing
chair
anything in
there
there.
for me next time,
I
sweetheart.
know,
Come on.
right? Not room for that. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We will be back next week.
All
We're
right,
back.
ladies.